Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit who's more African? At the end of the day, go in there. We care who's the better fighter. That's what we care about. But at the end of the day, I can see both ends of the table.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. JP, the last time I remember you did an interview, you were talking about visa issues. Was that something that was keeping you away from competing?
Yeah, I was just waiting on a work permit that didn't come in time, which that was kind of like on a wait. And then once I got that, I pretty much soon after that booked a fight. Like had the fight, but then had some injuries, serious injuries, keeping me from it until I was healthy enough to get back into it. And then it's just been a little bit of a waiting game where they put you on the shelf.
And the injuries, did you have to get surgery? What was going on with that?
Yeah. So the injury from the fight, I had a fractured orbital bone and nose, which that didn't keep me from anything. But I went back home to visit South Africa for the first time in like 3 years. So came back from there, had a great time there, gained some weight, overate like I usually do. Got back here, got back into the swing of things, and like a month into training, I tore my hamstring completely off the bone and had to get it reconstructed back, which that's like a 6 months recovery process.
Damn,
Yes,
I
sir.
was going through all of that, man. That's torn. Like, it's not even torn, it's ripped apart.
Yeah, it was crazy. I fucking ripped it off the bone, got the surgery, then had to move houses while I was still on crutches. Luckily, I'm surrounded by some good people and friends that helped carry my shit while I could just actually supervise.
Well, I guess it worked out for you, right? No
Yeah,
labor.
it worked out. Tested my character for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You do have some solid guys around you. In that time, I've seen you corner a bunch of guys. I mean, you're in the training camp helping a lot of guys out. It must have been so beneficial to be with that group and still grinding even without a fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said before in previous interviews, my life never really changes regardless of what I'm facing. I'm always training. I'm always training to hopefully fight. It's just sometimes inactivity gets you for different reasons. It might be on the business side, injuries, visas. But for the last, like, what, I'm 27 now. So for the last 9 years, I've been just living this lifestyle. So I'm always in the gym doing the same nonsense.
Well, there's no other better place, I think, than Las Vegas to live that lifestyle now, right?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a place to be. I mean, especially with the inactivity and being a full time athlete, not working any job other than fighting. It's a good place to be. Like, you save a lot of money with the Performance Institute right around the corner.
And there's events pretty much every weekend, so you're kind of in the mix, so to say, like mentally. It's like fight mode for you, right? Because your teammates are fighting.
You always there. Someone's always fighting, or someone's always talking about fighting. You see people cutting weight, and it sets the accountability a little bit higher. I don't want to be walking around out of shape and fat while my friends are lean and mean, so it keeps me accountable too.
How fat did you get?
Returning from Africa, I was like
Yeah.
168.
Wow,
168.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but then post surgery, I was just about 180.
Whoa.
180.
Man,
Yeah.
that's discipline.
It's
That's discipline
like,
to cut all that, lose all that weight, man.
man, it's like a job, Cutting weight is a job, fighting is a job, but eating is a job too. So that good nonsense, yeah, that's what life is about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you're returning back to bantamweight. Why did you decide to fight at bantamweight again?
I mean, the last time I fought was the first time I had the fight in the contender series was at 125. I lost that fight. Wake up was crazy, and I returned back to the team back home in South Africa. They didn't want me to be at 125 anymore. And if you look at the stats, amateur and professional, I've lost one fight at bantamweight, one, which is a decision, which I think that's out of more than 10 or 12, 14 fights. I lost one by decision, which was Montel Jackson. And then if you look at flyweight, I think I went 4-4 there, and four of them, the wins were all by finishes, and four losses, I got finished in all of them. So if you look at the stats on paper, I should have never been at 125 in the first place. But life happened, and I was guided into 125. I made the fight on the Contender Series. I won, which I didn't get hit. But then in fights after that, every time I got hit at 125, it's like my fluid isn't around my brain. It's shaking and I get hurt too easy. I mean, in the Montel Jackson fight, I got dropped, I think, 8 times, but I was always in the fight. I never got clipped where I didn't know where I was at. But at 125, once I get cracked, it's like I'm not even in the fight anymore.
Yeah, you're clear. You're right in the Montel Jackson fight. And Montel Jackson, man, that dude is he's a beast.
He's a giant. He's a
Yeah,
giant. They said, welcome to 35, fight Groot,
yeah.
Like,
Well, all the guys you fought so far in the UFC, they're all killers, man. It's not like you're fighting, guys that are coming in on their debut or anything like that. These guys are just killers, like Cody Durden. He's killing it at flyweight right now.
yeah, I mean, everyone that I fought was either on a win streak or since beating me gone on a crazy win streak. Cody Durden is doing very well for himself. He has few fights coming up. Bruno Silva has been putting guys to sleep, racking up bonuses. Montel Jackson, he has a great run. So, like, if you look at the thing, I believe everyone that I fought is top 20 in the UFC. Um, yeah, hard fights, but it's part of life.
What do you think outside of the, weight cuts and stuff? What did you learn from those experiences, those 3 fights in the UFC?
Obviously the weight cut is a big part of it, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I've learned is my timing is not God's time. My plan is not his plan. So you can do everything right and still lose. You can train as hard as you want to and harder than the other guy and still lose. And then you can do everything wrong and you can still win. So the biggest thing that I've learned is just trust the process, and your time's not God's time.
And also maybe letting go a little bit, you know what I mean? Not putting too much pressure on yourself as well. Because like you
Yeah,
said, you could have a bad camp and still win.
you gotta let go, and you gotta like adapt to things. The biggest thing is the adapting. In the fight, you gotta adapt. In life, you gotta adapt. You don't know, and things aren't always gonna go as planned. Shit's gonna be thrown at you at different angles, and you gotta just bob and weave and adapt to life.
Marcus McGhee, man. What do you think of him in the matchup?
Yeah, crazy guy, great, crazy guy. Tough fight, of course. Like everyone that I've ever been offered has been tough. But at the end of the day, it kind of makes me feel a little bit better about myself too, where the company is not going to offer me tough guys thinking that I'm not tough. I kind of have the kill or be killed mentality. Marcus too, he goes in there, he puts it on guys. Good striker, good well-rounded guy, great camp, explosive, big guy too. Like, let's not talk about him being big. If you look at his paper, he had more fights at 45 than I've probably walked around at 145. But yeah, explosive guy, athletic, good training camp, surrounded by just as many great guys as I am. Exciting fight ahead of us for sure.
But you have an incredible camp surrounding you as well, man. You I don't know how many high level guys you have around you, but who do you work with closely though for training camp?
My group is selective, but like you said, high level guys, training partners such as Aljamain Sterling, Marab, Amir Albazi, Javed Farid Bajarat. We got some more up and coming guys, and then specifically, I work with Sadabusi, the PFL champion, and Ray Sefo. Some high No, I'm probably ranked the lowest out of all the guys I just mentioned.
But man, only time, like you said, time.
Timing, God's time,
Yeah,
God's plan.
timing. Exactly. Exactly, man. Um, Working with Aljamain, I seen a lot of footage of you working with him. And how has it been since you are going to be fighting at bantamweight to have somebody that's the champ, the best in the world, number one, to be in the room with you all the time?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, not just be in the room, but very well. I don't want to say very often, but majority of the time when we in the room, we do things together. Obviously, for this fight, it's a little bit different, different styles, different body types, but we always drilling together, sharing knowledge, picking up from each other. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Kind of showing each other some things and taking. We have a very similar style when it comes to wrestling, grappling. We do things very similar, but also very different. So basically, I'll do one grip, he'll do a different grip, and then we'll find a middle grip that kind of sticks out for us most. So just kind of like, how can I say, getting creative with things and painting a picture. My ideas, his ideas, and then we find a way. But being surrounded by those guys and having those guys all believe in me, how could I not believe in myself?
Yeah, you said it perfectly, right? Having those guys believe in you. How can you not believe in yourself? The confidence is there. Even coming off, a couple of losses, I see the confidence is there in you because of the training, right?
Man, this is not the first time I lost, not the last time I've lost. It's the first time I've had that many losses in a row. Not even on the wrestling match have I lost that many times in a row, and that's where I compete every weekend. But at the end of the day, the only time you really lose is when you give up. When you give up on yourself, then you're taking a big loss in life. But for as long as you keep trying and trying and trying, your time is gonna come. Um, the confidence, it's something that comes from within. I've never doubted myself, and even when there was some doubt whether I was gonna make weight or not, I said I would die or chop off a leg, but I'm gonna be there, and I've been there every time.
The last year or so, you've been through a lot though, you know what I mean? Like even in your personal life. And was it the hardest year of your life so far, the last year? If you had the injuries as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, definitely was the most. Yeah, you can say the hardest year of my life. Up until the age of 17, 18, I was taken care of by my family. And then where I moved out of the house and started a martial arts career, life ran pretty smooth. I was winning. I had a pretty consistent job where I was making good money outside of fighting. With fighting, I'm in my home country. Then moving out the country, trying to find your good surroundings and your people. Just kind of pretty much figured it out in Texas. Then had to move to Vegas. And just when I thought that shit hit the fan and the luck is about to turn, like life is going to be stable, shit flipped on me again. And then put me back probably to the point where I was as an amateur fighter, where I had to rebuild everything again. Um, then kind of just started figuring shit out again. Had a fight, didn't win, but had some money come in. Went back home for the first time. Just kind of started figuring shit out. Came back, started training, and then that big injury hit me. Which I'm 27 now, and that's the first time I've needed surgery, and I've been playing contact sports since the age of 7. Um, so that's rare, but I had one surgery, and that surgery kind of put me back for a little bit, where I wasn't even able to drive myself around. The PFL champion Sadabusi, he was driving me up and down, getting me to the PI, helping me to get my therapy, picking me up, including me into things. But yeah, I couldn't even carry my own bags. So from a young age, moving out, being able to do my own shit and be independent into having to look into people's eyes in the past year for pretty much everything kind of humbles you. And if you don't humble yourself, or the sport doesn't humble you, life is going to humble you.
There you go, man. There's a lot, going into this fight, man. You got a lot to show people, and I'm excited to see what you can do. What are you expecting in this fight against Marcus McGhee? How do you want to perform?
Man, if I just go out there and God grants me the ability to showcase my full potential and perform to how everyone in the room knows I can perform, I don't see myself losing this fight. Um, so the way that I want to perform is I want to go out there and make a statement and prove my worth, because you're only as good as your last fight, yet alone the past 3 fights I've got my ass whooped. So kind of now it's like I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And a guy in that position is a dangerous guy. Look at Dricus du Plessis. Guy had nothing to lose, everything to gain, and no better way to do it that way. So I'm just hoping that I'm healthy, I'm taken care of, and God says, "Listen, young JP, today is your day."
There you go. And you mentioned Dricus du Plessis, another fighter out of South Africa. You guys are doing big things, man. You guys got a couple, solid stars coming out of that. But the thing that I wanted to ask you about is your thoughts on the whole Dricus versus Israel drama that's been going on. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. You know what I mean? Because you're from South Africa, man, born and raised.
Right. See, everyone, and you're not the first one, but I've been asked this question a lot, and the first thing that I say is, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit who's more African? At the end of the day, go in there. We care who's the better fighter. That's what we care about. But at the end of the day, I can see both ends of the table. Dricus, myself, and many other white people from South Africa. All we've known is Africa. Yeah, maybe generations upon generations. You go back to who knows when Jan van Riebeeck got into that country. Maybe 17, 1800s. I don't even know. Don't take my word on when exactly he arrived there. But since then till now, that's all we've known. So are we African? Yes. Is our blood German, Dutch, whatever you want to say, European? Probably, but my grandparents, and generations before that is all in South Africa. That's all we've ever known, and all our family tree has known. So to say that we're not from there is kind of different, Like if you go back to slavery, we can't say black people are still slaves because they were slaves back then. It's not like that. What's in the past is in the past. But yeah, our blood might not be African, and like Israel is African, but at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Let them just fight each other and see who wins. They both African. If they're both African.
Yeah, man. Um, August 12th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. JP, all the best in the fight coming up, man. And you've been through a lot, man, in the past year. And I'm always happy to see guys come out of everything and get an opportunity to show out and perform.
I appreciate that, man. Like I said, as long as you don't give up on yourself in life, your time will come. So we'll fight on August 12th, and the ball will keep rolling after that day anyway.